One, two, one, two.
My name is Lizzie.
I'm Joe. We're in a band called Halestorm. Hi.
Thank you for being here, guys. I really appreciate your time. I know you're pretty busy.
Thank you.
Always on the road. So I wanted to start with your history. Lizzie, you started your band with RJ, your brother, and your father, right?
Yes.
How did you decide to be in a band? Was it like always your dream, or was it just a spontaneous idea?
It just kind of happened. We've always been a musical family. My dad's a bass player. We grew up with a lot of 70s and 80s rock and roll. There was always music in the house. We always had a piano, guitar, drums, that type of thing. So it started out, my brother and I would just kind of do it for fun, just make up songs here or there, play them for our family members around Christmas time,
Oh, cool.
It's a great way to get out of buying anybody a gift. We wrote you a song, everyone thinks it's adorable.
Yeah.
Golden. Had them all fooled. No, I'm kidding.
So glad I didn't grow up with you.
Right? I wrote you a song. Then my brother and I decided to play a show, our first show outside of our parents' living room, and it was a local county fair called the Schuylkill County Fair, and we wrote one song called "Love Is Power." It was like 5-minute epic song with a drum solo in the middle of it. I was playing synth keyboard, and ended up winning 3rd place at this talent show, losing to the tap dancing cowgirl, who was much cuter than we were. And but the epiphany came from after that show, because we were just like shaking with just excitement and nervousness, and I just remember telling my little brother, like, do you want to do this again? And he's like, yeah, like, do you think, maybe mom knows another place we could play, like, let's keep doing this. And that day, to end ourselves in the talent show, we made up the name Halestorm, just to have a name to put down. And we've just never changed it. So yeah, it's we just never stopped. We played everywhere and anywhere. After that, just coffee houses, youth lock-ins, church functions, just all sorts of places. Bowling alleys. That was a big, big gig for us back then.
So you said 70s and 80s. So what music would you listen to back then?
Me personally, I grew up with a lot of dude rocks, which is Ronnie James Dio and Black Sabbath and older Van Halen, Deep Purple, Blue Oyster Cult, that kind of stuff. The kind of again, that weightiness of just kind of that late 70s,
what
early
were,
80s
and
rock
this is for both of you, what was your reaction when you heard that someone from that era, such a legend like Gene Simmons, pronounces rock dead? What was your initial reaction?
Well, it's Gene Simmons, so he's just looking for headlines. He doesn't.
Well,
obviously not dead.
It's obviously rock is not dead. The thing about that statement for me is that Gene Simmons is a millionaire. He's a businessman, and so maybe rock and roll isn't making everybody millions of dollars the way it used to. But we never got into this to make millions of dollars. So, but from what we see on the front lines every single night, every country that we play, people come out to the rock show on a Tuesday. You can play in Prague on a Tuesday night, and everybody shows up, and they got their fists in the air, and they need to be there. So, rock is definitely not dead, and that he's been misinformed.
And why do you think it is that there are not as many female rockers?
I think they're starting to become more. I think in earlier years, my opinion or my opinion of it is just, I think that girls that are my age that grew up with, I was lucky enough to have parents that were very supportive of whatever I wanted to do in life. But growing up, you do have that pressure to get married, have kids, get a normal job, go to college. All these normal things that you're expected to do, especially as a young girl. We're not encouraged to take the risky route and be a rock star. Nobody's encouraging that. Now, I think that people are encouraging it more. I think that there's parents that are my age, now that maybe grew up with everyone saying, no, you can't do it. So I think that there's a lot more parents now that are putting more faith in their children's dreams and wanting to be musicians or whatever they want to be. So I have hope for the future.
And what is it like for you to be in a band surrounded by guys? And what is it like for you to have a female leader here?
I have it easy, man. My guys are super cool, super easy. I've always been able to be part of the boys club, you know. I think that I would go a little insane if I was surrounded by girls. I think so anyway. And nothing against girls, but it's just the way it's always been for me. I've always had a bunch of dude friends, and it's always been guys in my band, so I'm just used to it.
Yeah, there's no like, oh, she's a girl thing. It's to me, you know, musically and being in a band, it's all about making musical moments, you know, especially on stage. You make a moment, make a crowd cheer, and just musicianship and being good. And it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl or a man or whatever. Just be good and kick ass at it, and then we're cool. You know, that's all. There's no gender.
Yeah, the only thing that I think the guys are a little disappointed in is that I'm the only one that gets to wear awesome heels. And
I wear heels in my
How
bedroom
do
at
you
night.
put on a show in those heels?
practice. I've been doing it pretty much since the beginning of Halestorm, in some degree, whether they be taller or shorter heels, and it just kind of becomes an extension of you after a while. You have to be aware of where the cords are so you don't trip and everything. And of course I've fallen a couple times, you know, but it's just, yeah, right.
My ankles quiver in
I
fear
know.
when I see her.
Well, when back in the day, this was like 12 years ago, I used to get up on like the amplifiers and jump off of them in my high heels. I don't do that anymore. I'm not.
You learned your lesson.
I'm not that young and stupid anymore. But yeah, I don't know. It just kind of becomes easy, like anything with practice.
So you mentioned your first show. What was it like for you to get the deal and put on the first record?
Crazy. It was actually a relief because we'd been a band like 8 years, and then we'd showcased for a lot of record labels, and they all kind of said the same thing. They're like, well, you know, we like what you do, but we have no idea what to do with you, you know.
And you know, getting a record deal wasn't like
it wasn't the goal.
A goal.
But
It's part of the process. So our goal is just to keep playing music, and you know, we kind of, it slowed down once we signed a record deal. We used to play all the time around Pennsylvania. Then we signed a deal and got writing, got working on the record, and we didn't play very much for a while, just trying to get the record made. And we're like, well, hopefully this is all, just so we can play more, you know. And it worked out. It was a good part of the process because now we get to play all over the world. And you can't just, you know, you need to have partners and crime to help on the business end to accomplish that. So it was all good.
And on your first album, you collaborated with a former member of another female-led band, Ben Moody from Evanescence.
Yes.
Did you know him before?
No, we met while we were out in LA, and he actually was going to produce our record for a short period of time, and a nice dude, super talented, talented writer, and yeah, we had far too much fun with that guy.
Yeah, we had
at
a blast.
his house.
He's a good dude. We haven't talked to him in a while. I
I
wonder
know.
what I know he's got a family going. He's a good guy. Hope he's doing well.
And on your second album, you collaborated with even bigger rock stars. So how did you manage to put all of those guys on one song?
Oh, for Here's to Us?
Yes.
We ended up, they're all of our friends out on the road, and we've toured with them, and when we put the word out, say, you know, and asking everybody to, would you please be a part of this song, because it's really about you, it's about all of us, and everyone jumped at it and said yes, and some of the you know, David Draymond did his part while he was out on the road, and Miles Kennedy did his at his house, so everyone kind of did them separately. They weren't all in one room together.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's an amazing thing to be part of this community, this rock community, and just everybody that's working it out on the road. It's humbling, and we're happy to be a part of that family.
The song Here's to Us, it was also featured on Glee.
Yeah.
How did it happen?
How did the Glee thing happen? Do you remember?
I don't know. I think the guy that runs the show heard the song a little early, probably from someone at our label, and they wanted to use it. And we were like, sure, yeah, go ahead.
It was really cool. You know, we had never seen our song in that type of context before, like to be on a show and have them all cover it, and it's really cool.
What did you think of it?
It was really cool. It was different because obviously they're not doing it the way that we would do it. They did their own thing to it, and
I'd never seen that show before, so I was like,
yeah, that was our first episode. We sat and had a party with you know, some of our label, you know, people and management and our friends, and we all had a party and sat down and watched the episode, and it was like the finale of that season, so we had no idea what's going on. So I'm sitting next to these two adorable little girls, are my A&R guy's daughters, and one was 11 and the other one was 13 at the time, so they're giving me the blow-by-blow, like, well, you know, this character hates that one, they used to date, so I'm like getting the history from these two little girls. It was awesome. But yeah, that was my first Glee.
It's strange because, you know, at that time, before I saw the episode, right before I saw the episode, I read an article about one rock star. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who it was, but he said something like, well, our songs would never be in Glee, it's so poppy and stuff. And then I hear your song there, and it's like, why?
What we've learned over years of doing this is that good music is good music, you know, and if it's a great song, it will be able to cross those lines and those genres, you know. So yeah, I have no problem with our song being covered by some pop people. I think
And
that's
it was
great.
a really good cover.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was great. This song, and also you were featured on Bar Rescue as well.
Yeah.
So, again, how did you end up on Bar Rescue? Were you a fan of the show before, maybe?
We had watched a couple episodes before, you know, just like in passing on TV or whatever, but they asked us to do it, and that was a strange day. We were in the basement all day.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because we were surprised.
Like, yeah, sure,
surprised.
we'll do it, and then we did it. That was it. I don't know.
It was cool. The radio station, the local radio station, was there, and they had leaked something like we were going to be there. So there was like 400 people that showed up to this club, thinking it was like
20
we're going to
people
play. Yeah, and they only let. So we ended up
playing like three or four
songs for them, you know,
just
just because they showed up. But it was fun.
And did you know John Teffer before?
No, that was our first time meeting him.
Nice fellow.
So, nice dude. He's the same way off camera as he is on. He's just
Really?
that way. Yeah. It's intense.
Sometimes, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. He seems so intense.
He's super nice, like hugs, kisses, all that stuff, but just he's got his zone, man. That's what he does.
Cool. Another song that I wanted to ask you about is I Miss the Misery. Because for some people it might be kind of strange, like in the Love the Way You Lie way, you don't love someone when someone lies to you. So I was wondering what went on in your head when you were writing the song?
I wrote I Miss the Misery during a period of time. My parents were getting divorced at the time, and I think it was something my mom or my dad had said about each other, is that, you know, they don't want to be, when they finally separated, and they're like, you know what, we don't want to be together, we know we're happier apart, but there's like, I kind of miss the fights, you know, and I miss like, that was like a thing that happened, you know, all the time, and then it becomes a part of you. And I think that, I don't know, I started thinking about how that relates to me and everybody kind of this generation now, like with Facebook and everything, where it's like, you know that you don't want to like spend time with your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend, but you can't help like trolling their Facebook page at 4 a.m. being like, just, you're torturing yourself. I think that people have this kind of primal need to feel miserable, you know, and the drama and everything. So, I don't know, it's kind of me, I guess, expressing that and poking fun at it a little bit. But
it's true, it kind of makes you feel alive, doesn't it?
It does, it does. You almost want to go out of your way to put yourself in pain just to kind of get that familiar feeling again, you know, and it's not right, you know, I don't, obviously, it's not something you should do, but it's reality.
And what's the writing process for you like? How does it work? How do you guys get a song together?
There's many
Different all
ways.
the time.
Yeah, we don't necessarily do the same thing all the time.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes starts with a riff or a song title, or Liz and I will hash one out, or we'll do it as a band, or we'll do it with some friends, like we said with Ben or other writers that we work with, and it's just the song is always king, you know. The good song always wins, so we just keep writing and
Hopefully get a collection of
hope
good songs.
get some good ones and put it out there.
Yeah, and for every record, like, because how many songs were on the last record? Like 15 or 13? Well,
I don't know.
something like that. You know, for, you know, all 14, 15 songs, there were a lot of songs that were like, oh, no, this one's better. Take that off the record, put this one on. You know, it's like, it's just a process. And, you know, like with anything, like you're obviously a journalist, so, you know, you draft, redraft, and like, you gotta get the story right or the questions right, and it's the same thing.
And do you prefer the writing process and putting on a record, or do you prefer being on tour?
Both help each other. I think that when we go in the studio, we go in the studio purely because we have to put a record out because we want to tour more. And then when we're touring, we're like,
yeah, a year or two into touring, you're like, oh,
you're like,
I'm ready.
we should write
to
now.
get back in the
Yeah,
studio.
we want to get back in the studio. It's a dance.
Waltz.
A waltz.
You were recently in Prague. Do you have like a memory of the city? Did you get to sightsee a little
We
bit at
did.
all?
We walked around.
We were there
got
one
a
day,
beer.
but we got up in the morning and took a walk around the city and had a beer in the square, and it was beautiful, incredible town. I'm looking forward to go back and spending more time. Hopefully, get a day off there, check it out.
It's a cool venue too. The state. This is when it was in a circle, right?
Yeah, the stage
Yeah.
just had like a circle. I forget what it was called. Was it the
What's
Rock
that
Hall?
now?
Yeah, that one. It
Yes.
was neat. Everyone was super nice there, and it was a great rock crowd. I can't wait to get back.
Really cool. Just great sweaty time, and
It's always
everybody.
sweaty in there. Did you see the walls? They always sweat after
Yeah,
a concert.
it's like it's raining a little bit inside. Yummy.
Everybody loves it there, yeah. So, to wrap it up in kind of a funny way, if Halestorm were a group of superheroes, what superpowers would you have?
Superheroes.
What would be your superpower, Lizzie?
I'm trying to think, Joseph. Don't put this on me.
My superpower would be to steal anybody else's superpower.
That's a hard superpower.
I'm a
Have you
greedy
seen
superhero.
X-Men? Have you seen Rogue?
Greedy.
Yeah.
That's not always nice.
It is not.
You may want to rethink that.
Right?
Well, fine. All right.
See, I want the okay. I would have the power to freeze time, but then you'd be able to pick like 2 or 3 of your friends that wouldn't be frozen in it, and then you could just like go and like rage all day, and nobody would like know that it even happened.
Sleep off the hangover.
Sleep off the hangover.
Wake up.
right,
and be
right
like,
back
all
where you
Now
started.
let's, what were we doing?
That'd be fun.
And I'd steal that power.
Oh God damn it!
You could just ask. She could unfreeze the time and freeze them with you.
Yeah.
Maybe
If
we
you
could
were
have
married.
fun. We would go and have some beers.
Well, maybe I'd let you in on your former power, and we could. I'd let you.
So if
in
you
on
steal it from me, does it mean that you just had, or did you take it from
I
me?
took it.
That's mean. You don't do that. Okay, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thanks for taking the
Thanks.
time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
Those are great questions.